Okay, let's talk about my website, the DTCMKG.com. Why I made it. Okay, I made my website because when I started out in DTC in 2019, reading about it, there was a guy named Kurt Elster who has a podcast called the Unofficial Shopify Podcast, and that was very helpful to me. And then there was a website that I used a lot called Fiverr, and that was extremely helpful to me. And there's other websites, Klaviyo, and obviously Shopify, which I was on at that time. All these platforms were very helpful to me. But the problem was I was an old man. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. So I developed some tricks, and that is to go to people, to try to find people who are skilled at certain things. Can you guys see me? Try to find people who are skilled at certain things and get them to do your work for you. And so that's what I was doing in 2020. I was locating people who would be good at certain tasks. And then what I would do is I would hire them to do my stuff for me. And some of those people, I still communicate to this day with them. For instance, I found a guy on Fiverr who charged $300 to do work on Klaviyo, and he would set up your flows and set up your campaigns. He wouldn't set up your campaigns, actually. That was extra. Well, he would do your flows, he would do your sunset, he would set up all your automations, make sure your tracking and attribution was set up, make sure your pop-up was working. He would do all of these things. And then the idea was that it was a flat fee one time, and he wouldn't do anything after that. But you could then go back to him and ask for other services. He also did monthly management, with which we ended up taking him up on. So we hired him for, I think it was maybe like $300 or $500 because we wanted to customize his gig on Fiverr a little bit. His name is asktimmy.com. His website is asktimmy.com. His name is Timur Ali. So Timur has that gig, and I think it was like $300, but it was I wouldn't say it was basic, but we just wanted customization. So we agreed that we would pay him $500, I believe, for his work. But then a couple of weeks in, he's doing his thing, and it's really beautiful work that he's doing. I mean, we were instantly seeing results. I said to myself, you know what, man, how much? I was listening to Chase Diamond, he's a very famous email marketer, and he was talking about sending campaigns and monthly management and all that. So I said to Timur, I said, hey man, how much is monthly management? He was like, well, that's usually $2,000, but I'll do it for you for $1,000 and 5% of revenues. Don't ever make those deals with a guy like Timmy, man, because you're better off taking the fixed rate, because that dude knocks it out of the park. So that's just one story about people on my list. There's over 100 people on that list. He turned a 4-figure retainer into 6 figures of monthly email revenue every month after that till now. I had him working on that store till we were doing 7 figures a month. So we went from doing in the 5s to the 7s with this same guy. So let me tell you, that guy is useful on that list. So if you're having trouble with your email, go check him out. There's also 20-something more people on that list who do email, and I've used a lot of them, and they're all pretty good. So that is what the DTCMKG is about. It's about resources so that you can hire somebody who's a professional, and they will carry out the tasks that you need to bring your store from 5 to 7 figures. A lot of people ask, what do you make off this? Nothing yet. I don't. But don't worry, I'm smart. I can figure that stuff out. What I like to do is something what like Alex Hormozi talks about a lot, is you deliver value first, and you keep delivering value, and then at some point you figure out like, okay, this is how this works financially. So I will figure it out. Trust me, man. I got plenty of steak in the freezer. I ain't, as you can see over here, I'm not starving. So as a matter of fact, I probably could use a little to tighten the belt a little bit, so I didn't have so much girth over here. But anyway, the DTCMKG.com site is basically, I would say in a few words, it's a convenience store for 4 and 5 figure brands to get to 7, 8, and 9 figures. That's the intention of it. That's what I'm building. It is a little messy right now. I hear you. People are like, man, that website sucks. It's all messy. It's so disorganized. I hear you. Don't worry, we're working on it. Me and Omar are working on it. What I would say is that there's people off that list already who are pulling in big revenues, brands I'm talking about, and agencies too. Those agencies are bringing money in, trust me. 30 grand in MRR, or not 30, but 20 grand in MRR created last week alone. So some of these agencies are making big bucks off it. I'm not taking any kickbacks. I've thought about it, but I'm still not doing that. What was I gonna say? But okay, so there's some brands, that I have in my brain, but I don't want to call them out because some of them are not very public with this stuff, but there's some brands that are really benefiting off what I do. Well, actually, one of them, I think he's cool with it. So there's a kid named Alex, a young man named Alex. He has 2 websites, Blanks by 13 and 13 Studios. And he doesn't really mind that letting people know I work on his store. So he told me something along the lines of recently, he's like, yo man, you cut my my retainers, which I did, by like 70%, and then you double my revenues. And I think he might have a little confused because I did not double the revenues. The revenues pretty much stayed at the same level, and they will go up. But what I did do is 10x his net profits, maybe 20x his net profits, to be honest with you. I don't want to say the number because you'll think I'm lying, but it's just under 6 figures in a single month. So he went from making X amount of dollars to making almost 6 figures in a single month off his site. And he's always been making money off that site, but what had happened was some of the costs had gone up, some of the bloat was there. He was still selling a ton of shit, but basically I came in and just made it more efficient. I didn't touch his operations. I didn't do anything like that. All I did was look at his marketing and say, hey man, why don't you do this, this, and that? And then he did it on his own. I didn't do any work on the site. I didn't touch it. I just referred him some people. And as a result of him, he'll go to my list. He like Live Recover, for instance, he's using Live Recover. So he went to my list. He's seen that I have Live Recover on there, a SaaS product. He looked at the description. He's like, it works. My description is, yeah, you need it. In the description it has like, yeah, you need this. So he was like, boom, downloaded it. So now Live Recover gets some business out of it. He's making money off of it. The beautiful thing is I can go to Live Recover. I asked him to give me a seat in his store, and I can open up his messages between his customers, and I can see what they are saying, because that is what I am good at. Besides a lot of other things, I am good at looking at what customer interactions are going on and then trying to figure out where the problems are, where things need to be fixed. People are not buying because they're not sure your sizes. Your shipping isn't fast enough. You're not clear about what the fabric is. The pictures don't look good. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of things. I'm not saying that's Alex's website. I'm just saying that in general, there's reasons why people don't buy. If people go to your site and they don't buy, don't think it's because they're cheap. Realize that it's because your site sucks. That's the down low. Your site sucks. If people go to your site and they don't buy it, it's because your site sucks. It's not because people are cheap. It's because your site sucks. Get that through your skull. Fix your site and people will buy your stuff. So don't get me excited by complaining and crying that people go to your site and don't buy stuff. That's your fault. What was I gonna say? Okay, so the DTC resource list, it's basically a convenience store for 5, 6 figure and even 7-figure brands to go there, pick something up off the shelf, and turn their brand into 7, 8, and 9 figures. So if you got a brand and you want to grow fast, or you're a brand and you're struggling a little bit, go to that DTC resource list, go through every page, be aware that eventually it's going to be pretty on the website, it's going to be nice, visually appealing. Right now it's just a bunch of Google Sheets. Thank you.